That's your cue.
Yeah, I had to click the accept button. So
Brilliant.
hey guys, and welcome back to Fortune Theory. I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm just joking. So here we are back again.
This is a
I'm
great
Oliver,
start to the most raw, just unedited video we've ever made. And the last one before we're in person as well. So.
Yes, so we thought we'd make it something a bit special. Yeah.
I could actually help him do what he's done.
Who said I need help? It's you that needs help.
What do I need help for? Other than everything.
Yeah. Right. So, as you can obviously tell by the title, we're going to be talking about Venom this week. So, because obviously the trailer had just come out on Monday for the new one, Venom There Be Carnage. So, we're going to talk about that this week. So, Patrick, you have seen the trailer. I know I'm probably stepping up a little bit out of your comfort zone a little bit with this video because you're not the bigger Marvel fan here. So just from watching that initial trailer, I don't think, knowing you probably hadn't even known that they were making a sequel to it, nor would you have wanted to. So what's your thoughts?
Well, I'd known that, but while I'm doing this, I know you were trying to hide behind your mic, but I can only see your eyes. Just letting you know that.
That's good.
It doesn't look right
today.
I don't You're literally like this right now.
Fine, I'll change it. Happy now?
There we go. A little bit better. Covering your teeth aren't bad. Mine are worse. But yeah, Venom.
No matter what I do, they look awful.
I'd known of that they were making a second one after the first one. I didn't really know Venom as a character much. I hope my mic didn't just go crazy. I didn't know Venom much, really, of it. Just as soon as it started being advertised as Tom Hardy's playing Venom in the new Venom film, I was like, okay, fair enough, that sounds cool. I'll actually look into the character a little bit, and just talk to, obviously, you guys and friends about it. But the trailer, and I liked the first one. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty good. And this new trailer, I mean, I can't compare it to the comics because I've never read any of like Marvel comics, DC comics, or anything, so I don't really have a frame of reference or comparison. A bit like, I haven't really read many books ever, like 2, if that. So I'm like, any book adaptations, it's based on a book, is it? Brilliant.
I think the only books that I've read. And like, I haven't really even read like comic books, and that sounds really bad for me. I've skimmed through the pages, like, because it's art, isn't it? It's like the art of the characters.
You just skim through.
It's not like a full-on novel where it's like, or you don't see much of like the contextual images. It's all just like, written explanation for you.
Yeah,
but it's effort, isn't it? But yeah, at the same time, like,
reading.
The Hunger Games Mockingjay was the first ever book I read after the first 2 films had come out in theaters, because then I could picturally visualize what the characters look like and what the scenario of what they're doing is. I could literally just picture it in my mind as I was reading the book. Yeah. And that's where I got the most enjoyment out of it. And then obviously I went on to the Divergent series. We all know how that went out on screen. I could still see it, but at the same time, because you could tell that there was loads of changes, because obviously that's what adaptation is. Yeah, that was a bit naff, and I kind of fell out of love with it again. But then when it comes to Marvel Comics, it's just like, it's not really like big pages of like words, hence the phrase comic. It's illustrated imagery, so
that's probably why you
just
like
as good as its adaptation. So
yeah, to have a book, because you can skim through a comic. I have physically read comics. Fuck me.
You don't have to read the bow pow.
Yeah,
yee. You don't have to read that. You just like, all you have to do is just look at the characters. Literally, it's like following the day in the life of Gromit from Wallace and Gromit. So literally, you don't need
no
the voice. You don't need like the audio dialogue. You just need a character on screen doing something.
But no, I've got really no frame of reference, especially for comics, in terms of Marvel, DC, or anything. So I was like, "Oh, what's this? What's this about?" And I was like, "Okay, there are some like I don't know if this is good. Not based on anything, not based on any prior knowledge to any comic or anything. This looks pretty good as a film. This looks all right, maybe. But then people go, oh, it looks shit compared to the comic. Why are they not doing this? Why are they not doing that? Or it looks amazing because they're going away from the comics in this sense and they're sticking to it for that reason. So, as a just a film and not linking to it to the fact that it is based on the comics,
it's annoying, really, because Marvel, especially Marvel, but same with DC and Imagine as well, all the comic brands, they've got such a strict audience. And annoyingly, it's also more than one audience, because you'll have the group of people who love it for what you've just said, like, where they go away from the comics and they change it, make it its own original thing, because that's what you do in an adaptation sometimes.
Yeah.
But then you've got people like, oh, that's nothing like the book that it's based on. I want to see the book that it was based on, like that storyline. That's not anything Marvel at all. Why have you just brought in this random like character or random like ability that's not comic related at all? This feels unpure. This is crap. Like, I'm in a spectrum, in a gray area where it's like I'm in the middle of that, where because I haven't really read the comics hugely, I wouldn't know anyway. But at the same time, an adaptation's got to do what an adaptation's got to do. And if they've got the means to do it, then do it. Unless, of course, you are Sony. so
Well,
that's where it makes this. I'm in the argument of it being more comic based if it's Sony, because Sony's, since Spider-Man 3, its reputation for Marvel projects is kind of taking a shit down the sewer. So yeah.
Well, that's the thing about like any sort of adaptation is, unless it is explicitly like, unless you are literally just taking it directly from the book or the comic or whatever it is, and taking it from one medium to another, whether that be like novel to like screen, or whether it's comic to screen, whatever it is, unless it is literally, we are taking this adaptation as it was in the book or books to the screen, then I don't think, other than that, I don't think you need the exact same story, because you've already read it, or you've already like flicked through the book, or you've already seen it. And I kind of get the idea of, well, we just want to see it in another medium or another format, another style, but you've already seen that thing, so surely you want to see at least a different, not necessarily a completely different take, because you're probably going to have the same story, you might have the same characters, obviously have the same characters and story, but you might have slightly different events, or how outcomes happen, or like tiny details would be different. But you probably want that if you're going to have a different format. Like,
I mean, it's kind of the route they're going with the new. Sorry to cut you off. It's kind of the route they're going with the new Venom trailer, because they're taking it very much based off the comics. I think I can't remember the comic title. Might have been Maximum Carnage. Might be completely wrong. If you know what it is, just say it in the comments. Not the comments.
We say it so much.
Say it in the comics. Brilliant. No, but the storyline that I've picked up from the trailer is that obviously Cletus Cassidy wants to break his girlfriend out of the Ravencroft prison, and she goes on to become Shriek, unless she already is. I'm not sure with the context of the symbiotes. Hence, I haven't really read the comics. Brilliant. Just scratch the little like pipe on the mic stand. Brilliant.
That's our new intro. Just
bloopers too, everybody.
yeah, literally.
Yeah, so they're really taking, because the point is that Cletus wants to break her out, and I think that's like a huge drive for his character when he like gets out of prison, and he's obviously the Carnage symbiote. I don't know how that comes to be honest, unless he already is. I wouldn't have known the origin of that. I'm guessing they'll explain that in the film. But
I can't add to that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah. So in the trailer, there's a scene where there's a lady sat down. She's got like the lines through her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that shot. That's meant to be Shriek. I can't remember her like her actual name, but like that's meant to be Shriek, who's like another sort of symbiote like character. I don't know actually. I don't know if she's a symbiote character. That's probably completely wrong. I think she's just got like there's a scream you hear her do in the trailer, which is like I think she's just meant to like scream, and then the sound is like it's meant to like disturb the symbiotes or whatever. So why Carnage has a kink for that, I don't fucking know. But if you remember Spider-Man 3, where Peter's using the church bell and the pipes to kind of disturb the symbiote, it's kind of like the shrieks like sound waves is meant to disturb the symbiotes or something like that. But I know there'll be some people that watch that'll be knowing exactly what we're talking about. There'll be some people who are like, that's kind of off. If I'm wrong, write it in the comments, please. Don't tell me in person, just write it in the comments. We will improve, I promise, especially when we meet in person. Because
these are just gonna like, it's much easier to just naturally get into a conversation. I mean, we're still in conversation now, but like when you're physically in person, just like go off each other. There's no like, it's just easier. It's like naturally to just bring conversation, and whatever the topic is, be easier as well. We're just going to end up it'll be a filler episode, won't it? I can't even think of what our next video is going to be, other than the fact it's just this episode. The topic is in person, whatever that means. But yeah, who knows what it'll be.
Showing us our awkward setup. No, it'll be more interesting than that. I've got a few ideas for our next episode. Will be anyway.
Good. Because I've got no idea.
I'm really liking like what they're doing with the whole, like, I don't know how well Sony's doing it, like, because they've obviously done the Venom movie, and that paid much of it. Wasn't the best movie in the world, but it definitely paid a much better tribute to the character than the original Spider-Man 3 did 11 years before. So I'm really glad that they're doing it the way they're doing it, and I'm glad they've got these great actors, Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, playing these like symbiote roles. And obviously now they've got the visual effects to actually make it look decent and realistic. Like, obviously in the comics, the Venom symbiote is more liquidy. Obviously they got that completely wrong in Spider-Man 3, but I suppose they had to do it the way they did it for the story they were trying to tell. But, you know, thank you for Sony for interfering in Raimi's work. The Venom symbiote's not so drippy again, but it's kind of like liquidy. It's like a squishy shit, especially in the new trailer. Like, especially
did you forget that we were on a call? Did you forget that we were recording then and just say whatever came to your head? It's like a squishy shit.
Yeah, it's like a squishy shit. Like, I don't know. It's just like when you look at it, like the way in the new trailer, like when he's making breakfast for Eddie, like it's the way all the tentacles move around. It just looks so slimy and disgusting. Like, you know, like. Not, I don't know. I can't think of the word. It's not so drippy. It's just like
stop trying to describe it.
Gross. It's fucking gross. It's just gross anyway. So, well, the point I'm getting at is that they're definitely making it more correct.
Yeah.
So that's a start. And Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, he's got that sort of psychopathic like tendency to his character.
He's very good at.
Not saying Woody Harrelson's a psychopath, just saying like he knows how to make that role work.
Well, Natural Born Killers is a great example of that as well. He is a very, very good actor for his roles, and then he does something like Zombieland. So you know, there we go. Arguably. Oh, what a franchise! Well, now a franchise.
Yeah,
but he's a good actor for that. So yeah, he's able to play a psychopath very well.
I loved him in the Hunger Games, like where he was playing like, you know, the alcoholic character Hamish Abernathy. That was great. I feel like his kind of like stress level that he had throughout that franchise, he's bringing that, but in a Joker kind of way, as in a Joaquin Phoenix Joker kind of story like way. He's merging all of that like to create this Cletus Cassidy character, Carnage, and obviously basing it off the comics as well. But yeah, he's like,
Woody Harrelson, he's got this acting ability, he's got this very good skill within his like range of acting, where he's able to play this almost careless on approach, but like someone that's like conniving and quite manipulative, and then it's like sort of mixed between like careless and then obviously they appear to be like all fun and games and like almost like a Riddler, or like a mix between Joker and Riddler, but then like behind closed doors, well not behind closed doors, they're a psychopathic murderer. And that's just like what he's able to bring to the table, especially with that role. But like with a lot of his roles, he's done those sort of that, at least that tone of performance. But Yeah, it's a pretty good trailer from what I remember. I'm trying to remember it. The opening.
And obviously it connects to the new Morbius film that they're bringing. Well, at least I think it is anyway. Like it's Sony's they've given it like an acronym, like the MCU. They've called it Spunk. I can't remember off my life what that stands for. I got to look this up now. Is it Spunk?
Brilliant.
I think it's Spunk.
Well, you know what
Sony
spunk
Pictures,
means.
Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters.
Ollie, you know what spunk actually means, though, like the textbook definition of. So it doesn't just mean that.
SPUMC. So the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. So that'll have that kind of counts with Tom Holland's Spider-Man and the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man stuff, partially, like, you know, with the interconnectivity, and obviously like Sam Raimi's doing the Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness, so he might be able to reconnect it, but I don't know, it depends on like what Sony wants with all that sort of stuff. But I know that there's connections between that WandaVision and Spider-Man No Way Home, and Sony expressed huge interest and planning to have Spider-Man characters who appeared in the MCU Spider-Man films to appear in this Spunk universe. So you've got Michael Keaton, who played Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. He's in Morbius. Tom Holland was rumored to be in the first Venom film. There was even plans for him and his classmates to attend the facility where Colton Drake was doing experiments on the symbiotes.
Ollie, that will do your thing. I'm going to talk for a minute while this goes on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wait, so what were you explaining? It was about the whole... you're back anyway. There we go.
Yeah.
You can immediately carry on.
How long did it go out for?
Literally a second. You're fine.
Yeah. I heard it make the snapshot. I was like, oh, shit.
You've lost where you are.
Yeah, like they were doing a field... they had a plan for Tom Holland and Ned Leeds and all those group of characters to like attend the facility that they were doing experiments on symbiotes on in the first movie. And they were meant to just make a cameo whilst they had that scene with Eddie Brock doing the interview, and then, you know, that leads into his girlfriend getting sacked and all that sort of stuff. But they decided to cut it because obviously by that point Infinity War came out, so everyone would be confused about how Tom Holland's alive and, you know, what the connectivity between that universe is and is set in the MCU. So Kevin Feige was like, no, I don't want that in that. I know it's your thing, but I don't want that in that. And they had to agree. But they still want Tom Holland in future movies. So he might make an appearance in Venom 2. I know Andy Serkis, who played Lucius Claw in Black Panther and Age of Ultron, he's actually directing this project because he is a director as well. He said that there's loads of hints to like Peter Parker's Spider-Man. It would be Tom Holland's Spider-Man, obviously, and there's like a huge connectivity. So you got to sit down through Venom, Let There Be Carnage to kind of pinpoint and pick out. You got to like really have the observer's eye. You can't just watch it sat back on your ass, like letting it come to you. You've got to look into it whilst you're watching it. You've got to look really closely, frame by frame almost, whilst you're watching the film, just to see all like the hints and Easter eggs and how it connects. Because the way it works is that Tom Holland does exist in that universe, the same as he does in the MCU. So I'm guessing that it's connected. I don't know. I know they've said that all the Spider-Man characters can't appear in any of the other MCU films, but they can jump between their own films and the Spunk films as well. That being, at the moment, Venom, Morbius, and Venom Let There Be Carnage. There will be an eventual crossover. Oh, God. There will be an eventual crossover with Spider-Man and Tom Hardy's Venom. When they do that, how they do that, I don't know. But I think they're setting the ground up in this new Venom film for that connectivity, because the way Andy Serkis described it is that they both exist in the same universe, but they don't know about each other yet. So Tom Hardy and that lot, all those characters from the Venom films and Morbius films, they don't know about Spider-Man. Don't know about Morbius though, because he walked past the sign of Spider-Man and it said murderer, and that was Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. So that's where that possible connectivity comes into it also. I don't know. I feel like perhaps in like the next 2 years, once all these films are out, we'll have a clear understanding of like where they're going about it. But for the moment, I'm just going to say they're all connected, because it's confusing to a point where I can only explain it so much. But yeah, I kind of wanted to do this video to clear things up, but at the same time, I'm just so confused as well. Like, it's in the Morbius trailer, you've got Spider-Man, but it's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It's got murder written across it. So that's meant to be a reference to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, who supposedly killed Mysterio at the end of Far From Home. Spoilers, not really, because he didn't do that, we know. Why is it Sam Raimi's Spider-Man or Sam Raimi's Spider-Man costume? I don't know. Obviously, they're doing the Spider-Man No Way Home film, and everyone's been saying about how there's a sort of multiverse Spider-Verse in that. Everyone wants it, even if they're not going to do it. I assume they're going to do it. Kind of semi makes sense. They're bringing in like Alfred Molina and what's his name? Jamie Foxx to reprise their roles as Dr. Octopus and Electro from those original, the Sam Raimi trilogy and the Mark Webb Amazing Spider-Man films. And Doctor Strange is even making an appearance as well. So they definitely are setting up some sort of multiverse regarding those characters. So I'm guessing that's how Sony will get like their Tom Holland Spider-Man back after Spider-Man 3. Kind of covered that in an earlier video, but yeah. Like, so once they've got Tom Holland back, he can then appear in maybe Venom Let There Be Carnage might be Venom 3, because I know they've expressed interest in doing a Spider-Man versus Venom film. Whether that's an official Venom or Spider-Man sequel or both, like, take it as you will. Again, if you know more to add to what we've said, and you feel like someone can get an answer they're looking for, feel free to put it in the comments.
Put it down.
If you've got a good theory or choice, we might even talk about it in a video. Might acknowledge you. You never know.
Anyone.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Just give us a message.
Ask away until we have like, I don't know, more than one subscriber that isn't us.
Yeah, we've got like 10 subscribers, but it's all of our different channels, because like, we're it's just making sure that videos are uploaded and stuff like that, and also so we can watch it and review our own selves as well. But we do actually have a few friends who subscribe to us as well, so
thank you,
or at least have been watching our videos even if they're not subscribed. And you obviously don't have to, but it's completely up to you. And we've promoted the video as much as we can on social medias as well.
If you are subscribed, click the notification bell as well, because you'll be notified when we go live. I was about to say, when we go live, we never go live. It'll be notified.
We have talked about doing live streams on Thursday evenings before the Friday.
We'll reveal a plan, So obviously, once we're in person, this is going to be a lot easier. It will be a lot easier, kind of, to a certain extent. Technologically speaking, it won't, but physically, it will be. The idea is to do a live stream, but from like 9:30 at night until whenever we can be bothered to finish, or basically end when we normally premiere the episode, that week's episode. So we'll just talk about, you'll get like two of us basically, because we'll have the live stream that will just stay up as well on the channel. So every week you'll have two videos, and then we may even add, because this is the thing as well, I want to edit some showcases of each episode as well. So I'll be like, instead of just having to go through each episode and like, oh, this bit, we'll have like, I don't know, 2 or 3, 4 20-minute, 5, 10, 20-minute edits of each video, just cut down into different segments as well. Because I think a lot of people, well, again,
we'll try and be less potty mouth and more like scripted as well. So for anyone who, for whatever reason, does get offended by some of the bad language you use, we do apologize.
Indeed.
In advance. And based off what we've said already. So, yeah.
But that is like,
give us, we have sinned.
And it's a pretty quick video actually, because we're just basically explaining where and what we think about Venom, and you've definitely given your case on it.
You got anything else to add?
Well, it's just mainly what I think about this trailer. I mean, parts of it I liked. I thought the opening was a bit odd. Just casually, making food.
I say eater, and I say Ida. Ida. I just want to make a sloppy breakfast now, so I can feel like I'm at home with them.
You get brilliant. It's the only thing you'll take from that is just make your own sloppy meal. I remember that. But yeah,
I didn't like the singing at the beginning because I thought they changed the voice almost, but they went, once he said yummy, you were like, okay, that's just him singing, it's fine. They hadn't changed the voice at all, really.
No. I think that's it. It's not actually that quick of a video, I suppose. Pardon?
It's just a line he says in the film.
Oh yeah,
yeah, in the first one anyway, because he goes down the elevator shaft. Yeah.
There are some good little jump cuts in the first one I love.
Yeah. But yeah, again, apologies for the language. And
yeah, we might put these on Instagram.
You probably
TV.
don't care, but
oh
yeah, we were thinking of doing that as well.
Yeah, so if you like that idea, we might do, like, if we get more of a notice on Instagram. That sounds really sad, but we'll do some Q&As in and polls for the Instagram as well. And I think you could do it on YouTube. I don't know if you need to sort of certain subscriber count, but yeah, we'll have that if you ever want to, like, have an input whenever we ask or make a poll for something. We'll be like, do you want this? No. Okay, we'll screw ourselves then. Brilliant. And but that's certain plans may go ahead, may not go ahead. But the biggest one is we're in person next week, finally. Yeah, however,
our own little mini studio.
And then you'll know when we lose our ability to give a toss, because I'm going to try and limit profanity. When we're going to lose the ability to give a toss is when we do an episode and it's just this again, like we couldn't be bothered to be in person. Sorry, but this week's off. But for the most part,
I hate his guts this week. So, yeah,
he's a dick this week.
Yeah, language.
Everyone has one that is a man, so most of the time. So there we go. And more bloopers.
Anyway, before we completely drone on, so yeah, if you got anything to add, put it in the comments. We'll see you next week. We do apologize for the late release this week, but he decided to get drunk a couple nights ago, and I was busy because it's my mum's birthday.
I was driving, so I had one like half pint.
One WKD sets you up for life, Patrick. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
See ya. Have fun.